Hey, this is CJ, host of your favorite podcast, The CJ Sweat Show, giving you your national championship preview and prediction. I'm going to review a few key things to pay attention to tonight as you go through this national championship game and watch. It should be a good one. Let's start with the key for Georgia. I think the key for Georgia is they have got to figure out a way around this running game. If they are too reliant on Sonny Michel and Nick Chubb getting them the offense, that's when I think Georgia is going to run into big problems. Auburn, when they played Auburn in that first time this season on November 11th, Auburn shut down Sonny Michel for just 21 yards and kept Nick Chubb to 27 yards. So Georgia couldn't get anything off of the running game. If they struggle to run, this offense seems to fall apart. This has been one of the big problems whenever Saban faces a run-heavy team. When you're too reliant on the run, Saban will just stack the box, and he's got too much talent in that front seven for you to run an offense that way. So I think today for Georgia, the key has got to be, can they get some positive play out of Jake Fromm? He's only thrown the ball. Should be noted, he's not thrown the ball a lot this season. He's only thrown it, let's see, just pulled this up here. He's only thrown it 259 times. That's not a lot. The positive news here is he's averaging 9.2 yards attempt, and he's only thrown 5 picks on the year. That, to me, is who I would be going to hot and heavy in this game, maybe 35 to 40 passing attempts from him. He's not throwing a lot of interceptions. When we've seen teams against Alabama struggle, it's when they turn the ball over. So I think that's a key for Georgia. The other key for Georgia, and this is what Clemson did last year, this is how they beat Alabama. Can Georgia weather the storm? That's going to be, to me, the biggest key for Georgia, because last year, if you remember, Alabama got up 17-7 in that game and had the ball back. Clemson came up with a huge stop, forced Alabama to punt, and then the very next drive, 4 plays, 42 yards, Hunter Renfrow with the catch to make that game a 3-point game. Alabama bounced back and took a 10-point lead again, going up 24-14. But then Clemson answered right away, making it a 3-point game again, came up with a big stop, and then took the lead in the fourth. When we got into back and forth, Clemson ended up winning that one late, as you know. So for Georgia today, the key to me is, can they weather the storm? Because Alabama's going to come out hot. They're going to score some points. Georgia, I think, is going to come out flat because Alabama's starting front seven is very, very good, and Georgia's very reliant on the run. So if Georgia can stay in this one in the middle of the third quarter and keep this within 10 points, I think they have a reasonable shot. Where I think Georgia gets into trouble is if Alabama comes out and they score in the first drive, and then Georgia has a quick 3-and-out, and Alabama goes down the field and scores again. That's when this one could get ugly and wouldn't be any fun to watch. The key for Alabama is going to be, how do they handle the run game without these losses right now at linebacker? They lost a key linebacker for the national championship game, and Fernie Jennings is out today. He's going to be completely out. He got a surgery on his knee. They are also they will have Minkah Fitzpatrick in the backfield at defensive back. The problem with that for Alabama is that he's got a back injury. So even though he's going to be playing, that back injury, I think, could be too much when we get linked to this game. And that's why, again, if I'm Georgia, go to Jake Fromm. Because you've got this injured defensive back, and we know Alabama shuts down running attacks. They're going to expect you to run the ball. I would put them on the fence early, throw some deep passes. Don't be afraid in this one. Play like you've got absolutely nothing to lose. If Fitzpatrick is indeed playing hurt, that becomes a big problem for Alabama. So I think the key for the Crimson Tide is, can you limit the number of possessions Georgia gets? Because if Georgia gets a lot of possessions, your already injured defense is going to get really tired. And again, if Georgia's able to weather that storm and Alabama's tired, that's when I think Georgia late in the game could find a way to win this one. Let's see if you guys have any comments going on in the chat. Looks like we've got JJ and Fraser going back and forth as they typically do. Here's your national championship prediction. Here it is. I'm going with the better coach. And this is what I always do when it comes to these championship games. Go with the better coach. Nick Saban has been here a number of times. That team is ticked off from last season. I don't see any way in the world he gets outcoached again like what happened last year with Dabo Swinney. Their game against Clemson was not just a win. It was a message that Alabama is not just a good football team, not even a great football team. Their messages were the best football team you've ever seen. And today, that defense is going to play with a different type of tenacity. I don't believe Georgia, who's too one-dimensional, will be able to overcome Nick Saban and that run defense. So I am taking Alabama. This is my final prediction. I've gone back and forth on the score. I'm going with Alabama to win this one 24-10. Georgia, I think, might have a touchdown around the second quarter. Alabama's going to answer quickly before halftime and then probably answer again soon in the third quarter. And by about 6 to 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, I think everybody's going to know your national champion for 2017-2018 will be the Alabama Crimson Tide. It should be a fun one. I really think this is going to be a fun, entertaining game. There's going to be a lot of defense. If you're watching this game to get a 42-30 score, that's not what this is going to be. It is going to be a gridiron battle in the trenches. You're going to see a lot of heavy hits. You're going to see a lot of messages sent from defenders. It's going to be a dramatic game. This will not be a lot of offense. So keep that in mind as you watch it. Is that a lot of people watch Alabama and Clemson, and people were telling me, oh, this could be a really offensive game with Alabama's injuries. I'm like, no. This will be a defensive battle. And Chris, by the way, our co-host, he hit it on the head last week. He said he went way more defensive than I thought it was going to be. This one I think is going to be really defensive. You're going to have a lot of run plays. You're going to have a lot of big hits, and it's going to be a coaching chess match. So anytime you get into a chess match, take the better coach. JJ says, I disagree. Georgia hangs in there and wins this, wins with time running out. I think if Georgia is going to win, it will be late in the game with time running out. This is not going to be Georgia coming out and dominating this game. This would have to be them, again, weathering that storm, as we talked about earlier. If they can weather the storm, hang in there, I think they've got a shot. But I think Alabama pulls ahead midway through the third quarter and wins this one. All right, we will be back live Wednesday, 7 p.m. right here on Facebook. On Spreaker, you can go to Spreaker.com/CJ Sweat Show. Find us on there. If you've never listened to us before, we are on iTunes. You can find us, CJ Sweat Show, there. So please look for us on iTunes. I want to thank you guys for listening tonight, and we will see you Wednesday. Enjoy the game.